All right, before I maybe go next, what do you think when you see those pictures and then those videos? Actually, like what comes in your mind? Maybe you already guess what is it about, or maybe you're still guessing. Maybe you can type in the chat box, but I cannot see the chat box. Maybe I'll pick someone. Maybe Miss Weedy, you can share.
Okay, so I'm still guessing what is it because it is still, unclear. So yeah, I'm still guessing it is.
Okay, all right. Maybe I also want to hear maybe from Miss Morgan.
For me, the two things I see was a community and memories.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for the answer. At first, maybe anyone is guessing, but I don't think anyone gets it right. But the previous photos and videos that I showed previously maybe just look like maybe like a random memories, random photos, random videos. But actually, there was all of the photos from my best friends, families, all of the people that has been around me. Maybe it was just like a photos, like a videos, a place, memories, a moment that passed very quickly for me, right? But to me, it's not that random because they were never just a memories for me, right? Every person behind it has a story, and also every name behind it has a memory for me, right? And somehow, without even realizing it, they become a part of me. Okay. For a long time, maybe I did not really see it. I did not notice the way it becomes a part of me because maybe it's a small things that really affect me. Maybe it affect me from the way I choose my food, the way I speak, the way I talk, the way I listen to a song. And it all happened actually. I watch them, I listen to them, and I spend like years, more than 10 years, all my life and half of my life with them. And slowly, a little part of them also became a little part of me. And actually, that is the thing that I wanted to talk about today, which is actually I am a mosaic of everyone I have ever loved in my life. So when I say this, maybe people will ask what I actually mean by a mosaic, right? So when I say this, I do not mean that I am mosaic is actually like a collections of different things gathered into one, right? But when I say about this, it does not mean that I'm not myself. It does not mean that I don't have an identity, right? It does not mean that I'm only a copy of others, right? But what I mean is that I have loved, and that love left small pieces in me. Some pieces maybe are very bright, some maybe are broken, some maybe are outdated, some maybe almost forgotten by me. But when I step back, they become one picture, and that's what shaped me to who I am today. And before I share like maybe like a small example of it, I also wanted to invite everyone to maybe like reflect how many things about us, how many things about you that actually started from someone else. What do I mean by this is actually perhaps like the way you eat, the way you tie your hair, like the way maybe you wear your clothes, the way you speak, like maybe the way you think. Like maybe we think these are just us, right? This is me. But again, if we rethink again, maybe it's also an influence from others, or it's also the things that someone has taught us, right? Or maybe something like we watch them, we observe them, we admire them, we miss them, and we love them, right? And for me, actually, when I start noticing it, I couldn't stop seeing it. Maybe in my case, like the way I brush my hair, the way I tie my hair, it was the thing that my mother taught me, I think, for more than over 20 years ago. And to this day, I think I remember like, oh, this is the one that my mother taught me. Okay. And then the way I eat my food preference, it's like a copy of my father. Both of us, we like dislike the same food. We eat in the same way. We have like the same food preferences. And also the way I listen to a song, it does influence, not influence, but a lot of people in my life share a song with me. Like, for example, my best friend shared me a song, and I still listen to it to this day, even though they share it to me like maybe 10 to 15 years ago. I still listen to it to this day. And also the way I speak. I started to notice that as I grew older, The way I pronounce some words, it's starting to sound like my brother, like, like we are the same person talking the same word. I started to realize that. And the way my speak when I talk, my accent is starting to sound like my father. That's what I noticed. And also the way I think, it's also starting to look like my father, loving to overthink, loving to overanalyze things and else. And the way I pick up my sports, it's also because I got inspired from someone in the gym, or maybe I got inspired by someone that I cannot mention from my past that introduced me like to a new sports. And also like the way I enjoy things outside there, going out, hanging out, is because someone told me that I need to go out and I need to socialize out there. And also it's not only about habits, but it's also about places for me. I keep coming back to the same places over and over again. It's not only because the places is nice, it's not only because the food is nice, but because I keep coming back there with my best friends. So those places not only become like my go-to places, but it's also places where I share a lot of memories with my best friend. Okay. And lastly, I think is it's like again about how I eat, how I drink, my drink preferences, what I like to drink is actually like a combinations of what people has taught me, what I observe to people. And actually this is just like a simple example that really close to my daily life. Maybe each one of you can maybe like start to reflect. Maybe you also pick up a habit from everyone surround you. And in the next few slides, maybe I'm just going to share a little bit more specific example in my circle of life. I think based like what I said before, right? Like I'm a mosaic of everyone that I ever loved. Like for example, first, I carry my family in my small habits. The way I eat, just like I mentioned, right? I started to, eat. My food preferences is the same like my father. I started to speak like my brother, and I started to look more like my mother as I grew up. And all of this, I carry it into my life to these days because I think I've been observing it. I listen to it, and it becomes a part of me slowly by time without me realizing it. And next one is some places are people. These are like pictures of me with my friends. And actually, these are three different group of friends, but these pictures are all taken in the same place. So I have like a place that I always go back to because this is our go-to place, and it's more than just a place for me because someone I love, which are them, made it very beautiful, right? Again, it doesn't have to be like a restaurant or a cafe, but maybe it's just a street, or maybe it's like a small place that maybe would look ordinary to other people. Oh, it's just a restaurant, it's just a street. I mean, it doesn't matter. But for me, it has a person in it. Like, it has a memory, and it has a version of myself in it. Like every time I visit the place, every single year, I think the new version of me is also there. Okay, because I think a best friend can turn an ordinary place into a memory, and after that I don't think I visit the place just for the place anymore, but I visit all of the memories that existed with them. And maybe that's why some places become part of us too. I believe like every one of us has our go-to places that has the memories, right? Maybe because you like the place, or maybe because the people in it. And lastly, I think is some people stay unnamed but not unfelt. So this is, I think, about there are always people in my life that I cannot always mention because maybe like we were almost something, or maybe we don't talk anymore after years, or maybe they pass away already. But actually, the things that they taught me to this day still stay. Like for example, I used to have a best friend. We are not a best friend anymore, but I used to have a best friend. And I think she taught me about a lot of things about being brave, about being bold, especially in life, right? And I don't talk to her anymore, but I still pick up the things that she taught me because I wanted to be as bold as her. I wanted to be as fierce as her, right? And also perhaps there are also someone back then who recommend me to a beautiful song, so beautiful places, beautiful, delicious desserts, chocolates, that now it's become one of my favorite things to listen to. one of the dessert that I love to eat to this day, because I do think that not everyone, I think people come and go, which is that's a fact in our life. But I think there is always part of them that stays in our life. I mean, like we hate it or not, we want to admit it or not, but there's like a little piece of them that always stays. Like for example, when I listen to a song, oh, I remember this person because this is the song that he recommend. When I eat a cake, oh, I remember this person because the first time I eat this cake is with them, and they are the one who introduced me to the food, right? Actually, going back again to the saying that I'm really a mosaic of the people I've ever loved, it's actually means a lot with me, and it's also giving me like an evidence that actually love leaves traces, because I think the way that they imprint things in my life and the way I remember things about them, the way they become a part of me, I think it is also a proof of love. Maybe it's not very obvious, maybe it's kind of quiet, because again, it's not something that really loud, right? You maybe started to realize it when you really take time to think about it. Because I love to ask a lot of questions actually about myself. Like, for example, sometimes I randomly ask myself, right, why do I eat this way? Why I don't like this food? Why I don't like that food? Why I like this song? Why I don't like this song? And actually, there's always like people behind it. Oh, turns out I don't like this food because of my father don't like it. Oh, turns out I like this song because my best friend shared to me this song. So there's also always like a people behind it that really make me can answer my questions, right? And actually, we often think that love is bigger things, right? And love can only be felt when the people is actually right beside us, or maybe still around us, right? But maybe it's actually about something that remains after, what I mean by after, maybe it's after all these years you spend with them, maybe after you lost them, after you don't talk with them anymore, or after any circumstances that happen with them. But it's actually like the habits, the phrases, the places, and the songs, and then the small, small things that we carry without always knowing the why, actually. And one day it made me look at myself, and realize that actually I am not only made from one story, but I am made from many. I am my mother's hand, I am my father's habits, my best friend's places. Maybe I am someone's songs, I am someone's words, I am someone's kindness, someone's absence, someone's courage, someone's lesson, or maybe someone's love. And all of these little things become pieces, and together they become a picture. So before I end this talk, I wanted to ask you to think about yourself for a moment, right? Maybe think about the way you live, think about the way you eat, the way you speak, the song you keep replying to every day, the places you keep returning to, the habits you never question, the small things you do every day without realizing where they came from. And maybe you can ask yourself, right, who gave me this piece? Maybe it was your mother, your father, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friends, your teacher, your manager, your friends at work, or maybe any other friends or any other connections you have. Because like people do not only stay in our memories, because they also stay in the way we love. They also stay in the way we become, actually. So now, again, when I look back at all of the photos that I shared in the previous in the first slide, it's actually I do not see it as a random memories anymore, but I see it as the evidence that I am really actually like a mosaic of a people that I've ever loved. And maybe, maybe just maybe you and all of us, we are also like, also a mosaic of people. Thank you.